Hi students, coming to the next topic in the subject object-oriented programming is access specifiers. So access specifier is one of the important topic while you're writing the programs. This access specifiers is also called as a visibility. You call it as a visibility modes. So the name itself is indicating it is visibling the whatever the data members and whatever the member functions that are used in the class are visible up to which class. So that specifies this access specifier. So the visibility mode specifies how the features of base are visible to derived class. Means one class will visible to another class. How it is visible? Let us see this. Actually, the access specifiers, every member of base class is inherited by a derived class, just with different access permissions. So these access specifiers is giving the permissions to access the data members and the member functions in another classes. So there are three types of access specifiers: public access specifier, public mode, private mode, and protected. So these are the three different access specifiers, means the visibility modes while you're using the classes, when you're writing the classes. So let us see the first one. Let us see the public. So what is this public visibility mode? A public member is accessible from anywhere outside the class but within the program. You have to note that if you declare any data members or member functions as a public, it is accessible from anywhere outside the class. Suppose it is present outside the class, you can access those data members and member functions which are already declared as public. But you have to remember that within the program, not outside the program. Okay, a public member is accessible from anywhere. So you can access in anywhere outside the class. Anywhere outside the class but within the program. But within the program. So the variables or member functions that are declared as a public, that can be accessible from anywhere outside the class, but that should be within the program, the member functions and the data variables that are within the program. So let us see one example how this public member function is accessible. Suppose this is star include IO stream for accessing all the input output functions using namespace std. So now coming to the main, so the first, the class line. Okay, so this is a class line. You call it as a base class or whatever the class that I declared as a public. So the items that I declared it as a public, that can be accessible anywhere outside the class also. So public. So what items I'm using the public double length. So length is one variable that declared as a public. Next, void set length. Void set length double length. So this is one of the function that I declared it as a public. So this function can I can use outside the class also. And another function that double get length. So set length and get length I can use anywhere. Okay, within the class or outside the class also I can access these variables and these two functions. So this is the data member and these are the two member functions. These three can access anywhere in the program. Okay, so this is a class line. Now let us see the member function definition. So member function definition. So here I just declared the data members and the member function. So now I'm writing the definition, double line. So this is the class. Get length is a member function. Void return length. So whatever length it may be, that is should be written. Okay. So now coming to another member function. So get length I call with the help of this class. So another member function, that is coming to next, void line. So line is the class. Set length is another member function. So previous I had written as a get length. Now it is set length, double length. So here I am declaring, I am writing the definition, length is equal to len. Okay. So I call the two member functions with the help of the class, from the class. So now I am writing the main function, int main line. So line is the class and this is the object. I declare the object. Now with the help of the object I am calling the functions, line dot set length. I am giving the variables values. Line is the object, set length is the function which I am calling. So this is this function it calls. So whatever the length is, 6.0 will say stored in the length. Now print that value. So cout length of line. So what will be the length of the line? That is line dot, line is the object, get length. And L. So now set line without member functions. Without member functions I am directly writing line dot length is equal to 10.0. Why I written like this? Because it is the length is the public which I already declared. So length is a public. So without writing like member function, directly I am calling line is an object and dot length is equal to 10.0. Cout. Now print this, length of line, line dot just simply length and L. Return 0. Close the main function. Then what will be the output here? So first length of line is whatever the length of line, that is a 6 is printed. Next length of line is 10. 10 was printed. Okay. So this is how you use the data members or the member functions which are declared as a public within the class or outside the class. So outside the class I am accessing, in the main program I am accessing the variables that are declared as a public. So here I declared, in this class I declared the length and set length and get length or the public. So I am using these class items in the main function and calling the program. So this is the public. Now let us see the private. So the next member function, or sorry, the next access specifier or the visibility modes or the private. So we had seen the public. Now let us see the private. What is a private? So a private member variable or a function cannot be accessed or even viewed from outside the class. Only the class friend function can access private member. So what it means? So if a variable or a function that is declared as a private, that can be accessed only within the class. It cannot be accessed, or even it cannot be viewed from outside the class. So another class cannot able to see that variable or the function which I declared it as a private. Private means make it as a secret. Okay. So a private member variables or functions cannot be accessed. You have to remember, cannot be accessed or even viewed from outside the class. So that you have to be remembered. So a member variable or a function that is declared as a private, that cannot be accessed or even viewed from outside the class. So only the function, only the class friend function can access private members. So only the friends can access. So your secrets can be shared your friends. Okay, other than the friends, you are not showing your information, because you make it as a secret. You are making it as a private. Okay, if you make your information as a private, you are not supposed to show that information to any other. Okay, suppose if your close friend is there, then you will show that message to your friend. Okay, only so friend function can access private members. Only the friend function can access private members. Other classes cannot able to access those variables or functions, or they cannot even view those items. So let us see one example. So example. So in this example, I'll use the public and private. Then you will be cleared what is the public and what will be the private. I declare some items as a public and some items as a private. Include IO stream. So now coming to the star class, base class. So class A. So in this class A, I'm writing the private. I'm declaring some variables as private. Suppose private int A I declared. The way A variable is declared as a private means A can access only within the class. Outside the class, you can't access the A variable. Now I'm declaring public int B. So int B can access anywhere in the program, but not outside the program. Anywhere in the program, in any number of classes, you can access the B variable, because I declare it as a public. Okay. Now I am writing the function public. So whenever I declare the function as a public, this function can access in any of the class. So that is a void show. Here I am declaring the values A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. Now I am printing the values C out. So that is accessing variables within the class. Okay, accessing variable within the class. C out value of A. Just print the value of A. Okay. C out value of B. Just print the value of B. Close the class. So what here I am writing, this is completely class program. Within the class, I declared the one variable as a private and one variable as a public. Okay, I have given the values 10, 20. I am printing the values also. So within the class. Now coming to the main program. Void main. So now I am creating the object for the class. So A is the class, obj is the object. So with the help of the object, I'm calling this function. So because this is a public, I can call, because the function, the method is I declared as a public. So by default, all the methods should be a public. Obj dot show. So whenever I call this, okay, so now I call this program. So now I want to print the value cout accessing variables outside the class. So accessing variables outside the class. So now I'm accessing the variables outside the class, but one thing you have to be remembered that here the A is declared as a private. So now A cannot be accessed. Okay, so A cannot be accessed. Suppose if you print like this, it shows some compile error. Cout value of A. So with the help of object, you are calling that variable, but it shows compile time error. Compile error because A is a private variable. You can't access in another class. Okay, so cout value of B. So obj dot B, this will be printed because B is a public. So that this is a program. So what will be the output? So whenever I call this program, obj, object is created, obj dot show means it comes to here. Okay, it comes to here and it enters these values. So what will be the output? Accessing variable. So output for this is, first it reads this function because I'm calling obj dot show. Now the output is accessing variables within the class. First it will be printed within the class. So what is that? The value of A is, what is the value of A? 10 will be printed and value of B is 20 is printed. So this is readed, this function is readed. Now coming to here, now it enters the cout accessing variable outside the class. So in the output you are able to see accessing variables outside the class. So it will be printed. So here this step won't execute because the A is declared as a private. So you cannot access that A variable. Now it prints this statement. So here value of B is 20 will be printed. Okay, so this is about this private. So the variable that is declared as a private, that is accessed within the class. So within the class it prints the A value and the B value. So if you call that program in outside the class, so accessing the outside the class, A cannot print because A is declared as a private. Only the B value will be printed. So this is about the private. So in the next video, I'll explain about the protected. Thank you.